Now at 9, how you can prepare your car for the upcoming frigid temperatures.
The Senate could be moving closer to figuring out how to fund the government past Friday, but some House Republicans wanted to wait until next year. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll explain coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. We are expecting temperatures near 0 or below before the end of the week with a wind chill much colder than that. Let's go straight to meteorologist Sam Lane. Sam?
Thank you very much, Jordan. Yeah, you got it right. We're going to be seeing very cold temperatures and then wind chills even below that as we head through the forecast. Right now, radar is all clear, but that's going to be changing over the next 36 hours. In fact, a winter storm watch is in effect for our northern counties, basically from the Oklahoma border northward, and then wind chill warnings and watches down in Oklahoma and Arkansas due to the anticipated winds. And over the last 36 hours, we've been basically staying right around 40 degrees. And then now we're kind of slowly heading downward as we go through time. Right now, we're right around freezing. So let's take a look at the forecast for tonight. We can see temperatures dropping down to around 23 by morning. So a mild Wednesday is in store, but then as we move into Thursday, that's when the bottom falls out, followed by a bitter cold wave. And what does that mean for White Christmas? Well, I'll have the answer coming up in just a little bit.
Sam, thank you as always. Missouri Governor Mike Parson has ordered state agencies to prepare for this expected winter storm and extreme cold. Parson signed an executive order this afternoon to activate the State Emergency Operations Plan and the Missouri National Guard for response efforts. This order is, of course, precautionary to make sure state resources and Guard members are available to help citizens and support authorities. It's important to prepare our vehicles for this upcoming cold. KOAM's Jalen Banks gets some expert advice on how to do that.
Cold weather can expose the deficiencies in your vehicle. And with the weather that we may be facing in the 4 states in the coming days, it's imperative that you prep your car for it, including checking your fluids.
Just making sure your fluids are topped off, that you have the right amount of coolant in there to keep it from freezing over. Another thing a lot of people don't think about is the washer fluid. You can actually put fluid in there that's good to minus 40. That way when you go out, you got ice on there, you can actually use your sprayers to de-ice the windshield.
Harlan Clutter also says that checking your tires for little to no balding is important as well. In the event that you do break down on the side of the road, having an emergency car kit could be life-saving. Those items should include extra clothes, blankets, food, water, a flashlight, among other things. And it's important to remember that all components of the car impact each other.
Steering and suspension is a huge thing. So making sure that it's good, because that will also affect your braking and your handling and that kind of thing as well.
In Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
Other items you can keep in that emergency kit in the car are a shovel, also a phone charger. Carthage R9 School Board has announced the district's new superintendent, Dr. Luke Boyer from Conway, Missouri, is going to take over the reins starting in July. Boyer had been serving as the superintendent of the Laclede County R1 school district. He's going to replace Dr. Mark Baker, who is retiring after 6 years in the position. Cannabis Company in Carthage is preparing for recreational marijuana in the Show Me State. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce, along with city officials and Blue Sage Cannabis Company today, broke ground on a new building. Blue Sage is Missouri-owned, also Missouri-operated.
Coming up, we don't think is going to be enough to meet demand. So currently we run 3 point of sales here. And we can see wait times of 10, 20 minutes on the weekends. So with this new building, it'll be 4,800 square feet. We'll have 8 points of sales, and we'll be able to meet the demand of the adult use population.
The new location is going to be near their current smaller location at 2929 The Loop in Carthage. That old location is going to close, by the way. A local real estate company is helping those in need. Over at the Ronald McDonald House, Reese Nichols agents donated $100 for every home they helped buy or sell between April and November. So in total, they donated $6,900. They presented that money today at the Ronald McDonald House in Joplin. Officials say this is enough for 69 free nights for families.
We have an office in Neosho, which is the one that I manage, and then we have offices in Joplin and Carthage and Mount Vernon, and all of those offices have participated and contributed to the donation that we made today to the Joplin Ronald McDonald House.
Of course, the Ronald McDonald House provides something special, housing for families with children receiving critical medical care at a local hospital. Well, the Senate could make its December 23rd deadline to pass a bill to avert a Christmas-time government shutdown, but if they don't, House Republicans promising to take negotiations back to square one next year. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has more from Washington.
More than a whopping 4,000 pages long, bipartisan negotiators hope to get this bill from the Senate floor to the president's desk by Friday's deadline.
We hope to do it much sooner than that because we're mindful that a nor'easter is barreling down the East Coast.
The $1.7 trillion omnibus bill is backed by both Senate leaders, the House Speaker, and the White House. It has beefed up defense spending, millions for communities impacted by disasters, and more aid for Ukraine than the president requested. It does not have a child tax credit expansion nor increased IRS funding.
We've transferred huge sums of money away from Democrats' spending wish list toward our national defense and armed forces.
But some Republicans don't agree. Current Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy promised if the bill he called a monstrosity isn't passed this week, next year's Republican House majority will not pass it.
What's so perverse about this is if Republicans just hold out for a few more weeks, we will be in control.
But holding out could mean a potential government shutdown if Democrats don't agree to extend the deadline again.
I thought this was the best deal we could get, an important deal for us to get over the finish line before we head home for the holidays.
This funding bill is for fiscal year 2023, meaning it was due months ago and only funds the government through September of next year. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Richard Smith served in the U.S. Army from 1944 to 46. The Joplin native served in the 14th Armored Division, earned 2 Bronze Stars. We are proud to thank and salute Richard Smith. He is tonight's four-state hero. Coming up, preparing for a lot of detours.
Travelers brace for massive delays as a winter storm approaches. I'm Charles Watson in Atlanta. Details coming up. Wells Fargo is being slapped with a $1.7 billion fine by federal regulators. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says the multinational financial services company took part in, quote, widespread mismanagement for years. Officials say more than 16 million consumer accounts were affected by these actions, which included wrongful disclosures and surprise overdraft fees. The CFPB also ordered Wells Fargo to pay more than $2 billion to refund consumers for what they deemed was illegal activity. Nearly 113 million Americans going to be traveling over the holidays, but travelers are bracing for flight cancellations as a major winter storm approaches. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson explains. It's one of the busiest travel weeks of the year, but a massive winter storm has folks scrambling to change their plans.
Yes, so kind of a good time to get out of town.
Forecasters expect the system to bring heavy snow, rain, and ice to much of the U.S. this week. Bitter cold temperatures threaten to freeze runways and roads.
We'll be kind of checking out the weather and seeing what's happening at the airports. And also, I mean, it is the holidays, and even being delayed, let's say a day or so, is a big deal.
In Seattle, snow began falling Monday night, leading to a wave of cancellations at SeaTac Airport. Some carriers, such as Alaska Airlines, pre-canceled flights to avoid backups when the weather hits. United, Southwest, and American are offering waivers for people looking to adjust their flights at no additional cost.
Especially on like Friday, the day before, Christmas Eve, that afternoon schedule is just going to be packed. And there's not a lot of place to put the people if we have cancellation.
This storm is just the latest obstacle in what's been a turbulent year for air travel. Staffing shortages led to delays and cancellations across the U.S. earlier this year. But with 7 million people expected to fly over the holidays, airlines say they are better prepared.
Even the airlines like us are actually better planning to have the kind of surplus staff that we need so that if we do see an increase in sick calls, that we'll be prepared to handle it.
Airlines say after the storm, there could be further delays as crews de-ice planes. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Sam is next with a complete look at the forecast a bit later. Going to hear from former PSU gorilla Dallas Flowers about making a name for himself in the bigs, the NFL.
Well, it was a little bit on the chilly side today with lots of clouds and temperatures in the 30s. We were hoping for a little bit more sunshine, But that's nothing compared to what's coming. We're going to be looking at a winter blast. Right now, things are calm down in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, as well as across the entire four-state area. Nothing really going on. We made it up to 37 today after starting out at 31, which was above the normals of 28, but the high was below normal by 10 degrees. Check out the record low, 0, back in 1983, and that's what we're going to see around here in the forecast. But right now, things are clear across our area. Nothing really going on radar. Temperatures are quite chilly. Northeasterly winds, and around 29 degrees in Lamar, also in Fort Scott, 28 in Iola, a little bit warmer down to the south, but they're still below freezing in Jay with 31 degrees. And when you factor in the wind, it's feeling a little bit chillier out there. Now, we're about 10 degrees colder tonight than we were last night at this time, a little bit even more colder up to the north and west in Yates Center, where they're 16 degrees colder tonight than they were last night. Down in Cassville, they were about 4 degrees colder right now. When you factor in the wind, here's the wind chills: 15 degrees in Yates Center, 16 in Iola, 21 in Fort Scott for some of the coolest readings, 22 in Webb City, and 24 is what it currently feels like for our friends in Commerce. Here's the winds right now, but notice as we go through Thursday, this is going to be the big story. Winds of over 40 miles per hour, gusting up to 50 miles per hour, with temperatures dropping down into the single digits, and that means wind chills are going to be significantly colder than that. So you can see that on the forecast, and the winds basically stay up all day long and finally start to subside a little bit as we go into Friday evening, and that's going to have an impact on our forecast. Right now in Joplin, we're 28, feels like 23 because that northeast wind at 5, and the dew point is currently 23 degrees. Our precipitation chances are going to be basically low for the next 24 hours, but in 36 hours, we're going to start out with a rain, maybe a mixture around 6 a.m. and then switching over to snow before it all turns over to snow and accumulating snow at that. Here's your future track forecast. Winds out of the east tonight, lows in the 20s. Then tomorrow, maybe a little bit of sunshine, especially down in Oklahoma with highs in the lower 40s, 30s up to the north. And then Wednesday night into Thursday, here comes the Siberian front making its way across our area. By 5 a.m., it will be slicing across our area. Then it will rapidly move through, snow moves in, temperatures dropping down into the single digits with those winds gusting up to 40, maybe 50 miles per hour. So it's definitely going to be cold. And then we'll be seeing lows dropping down into the negative numbers, -6, perhaps a pretty popular number across the entire area. So rain, snowfall amounts, we're looking at around 2 to 4 inches across our area, higher amounts to the north, lower amounts to the south, around 3 here in Joplin or in the metro area, I think is a pretty good forecast. Of course, that map is likely going to change as we get closer to the event. What is not going to change are these wind chill numbers. We are going to be seeing wind chills in the minus teens and then in the minus 20s as we go into Friday morning, and then Friday afternoon, still negative numbers as far as the wind chill goes. So the next 7 days, it's going to be cold, quite cold, record cold, or record feeling cold anyway. And we're going to see temperatures rebounding finally above freezing, Jordan, on Monday, but a temperature of 35 with yet another chance of maybe some winter-like precipitation. So we'll have to keep an eye on that system.
Just unreal. What do you think about
It's incredible.
Yeah. Sam, we'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Appreciate you. All right, coming up, worry that a new COVID variant could cross continents.
China is inching closer to a big new COVID surge, one that could have a big impact on the United States. I'm Greg Palcott in London. That's my story. Come in.
Health officials here in the U.S. reaching out to China, offering assistance as another COVID surge grows. And there are fears that what happens in China won't stay in China. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has more from London.
China recently abandoned its zero COVID policy, and now we're seeing a big spike in cases there. Officials are scrambling to set up makeshift hospitals as healthcare systems become overwhelmed. There are no reliable daily case counts, but China did report multiple COVID deaths on Monday and Tuesday, a rare admission that the situation is not fully under control.
The overall trend of mutations now is mainly about immunity escape. Even if its contagiousness does not increase, its advantages for transmission will increase.
And those mutations prompted the State Department to sound the alarm, claiming any new variants that emerge from China will likely hit the U.S. sooner rather than later. The Biden administration now offering assistance to Beijing, hoping the spike doesn't become a surge that travels around the world.
The United States continues to be a leading force for countries around the world, helping countries overcome the acute phase of the virus.
It couldn't come at a worse time for healthcare systems in the U.S., which are already under severe strain from the so-called triple-demic of COVID, RSV, and the flu. And with demand for children's medication skyrocketing, major pharmacies are now limiting purchases of over-the-counter medication, prompting more parents to take their kids to the hospital for treatment.
We have seen hospitals take younger and younger people in their adult ICUs.
Despite the high levels of transmission, some local governments in China are actually encouraging people with mild COVID to go back to work. In London, Greg Falcon, Fox News.
Up next, going to learn what the most popular Christmas cookies are in each state. Google releasing its list of the most popular Christmas cookie in each state. Take a look at that. Google's map is based on searches between December 3rd and December 9th. So, gingerbread was the top cookie in 7 states, also DC. In second place, peanut butter cookies, which were popular in 7 states. 6 states searched for Italian Christmas cookies, followed by sugar cookies. So, let's go over real quickly the forested area. Missouri, I took a picture with my phone because I can look at it better. Red velvet cookies, popular in Missouri, yeah. Oklahoma, Mexican Christmas cookies, Sam. And Kansas, hot chocolate cookies. Oh man, that looks good. All right, yeah. All right, 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming away. The music has been going for a while. City of Joplin is providing more than $1 million to Missouri Southern for a new health science innovation center.
New concerns that Russia may be preparing to attack Ukraine from the north in Belarus. I'm Nate Foy in Kyiv, Ukraine. I have the details coming up.
A new medical building is coming to MSSU, Joplin. And the city is going to provide $1.5 million to a proposed project by MOSO to build a $30 million health science innovation center on its campus. KOAM Sugumba Medali has more.
A new health science innovation center is coming to Missouri Southern. The building is set to transform health science and research in Joplin.
The Health Science Innovation Center is a building that's planned on the Missouri Southern campus that would really transform not only our campus, but I think healthcare and health science in the community.
The new Health Science Center will expand nursing programs at MSSU and the Joplin community.
This building will facilitate growth in our health science programs, and that would include medical and dental students interested in transferring onto KCU. We have a great partnership between Missouri Southern and KCU. So I do think it will help grow the talent in our region in the health sciences.
The building will focus on research and innovation,
which will be some learning spaces, including a simulation lab, a radiological lab, some research space. We think it will really move us forward in terms of health science on our campus.
Speaking to the city manager of Joplin, he tells me how the city managed to assemble funds for the Health Innovation Science Center.
The funding for the Health Science Innovation Center is made possible through the city's ARPA grants. The city's been awarded American Rescue Plan Act monies, along with state funds that have been provided through the budget and Governor Parson. The total project has a cost of around $30 million. The city's contribution will come from those one-time funds, and it really is a great example of partnership at the state and with our local university to help make this project possible.
The city manager says he is thankful that the building will boost Joplin's economy.
For the leadership at Missouri Southern State University recognizing a need to fill a gap in our talent pipeline, this facility will help students have better opportunities for health careers. And there's certainly a market with our excellent hospital systems that could definitely use more talented and skilled workers.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagun Bamdele, KOAM News.
Project is expected to start early 2023 and be completed in the fall of 2025. CDC warning that the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning increases when temperatures plummet and home heating systems run for hours. We're going to get some of those temperatures soon, right? There's no national requirement for carbon monoxide alarms anywhere except now, for the first time, in federally funded public housing. Missouri doesn't require carbon monoxide detectors statewide, but leaves it up to the local levels. Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas do have state laws requiring detectors for some residential construction. CDC says each year in the U.S., CO poisoning kills at least 430 people, sends about 50,000 to the ER. Members of the Joplin Kiwanis Club presented a check today to Children's Haven, Joplin. Children's Haven provides temporary shelter to area children while their parents resolve a family crisis. The check represented 50% of the proceeds from the Joplin Kiwanis Club golf benefit tourney held in August.
We are seeing an increase of kids. We take kids 0 all the way through 17, and we've got a house full for sure. As it gets colder outside, just the need is greater, and just trying to keep kids safe and assist their families.
More than $2,000 were presented at Children's Haven of Joplin. Animals are cute, right? I'm more of a dog person myself, but what about bad portraits are drawn of our best friends? The Doggy Bag in Pittsburgh hosted its first ever Bad Pet Portraits fundraiser. They're supposed to be bad. Pet owners submitted photos of their beloved pets. The shelter staff, the Doggy Bag staff, and board members drew pictures of the pets. Those are pretty good drawings, though, if you ask me. So anyway, in total, they raised more than $250 to go towards animal medical funds.
Yeah, it went way better than we originally thought it would. We had lots of families that would be submitting 5 to 7 animals each. So we got not only dogs and cats, but we had a bearded lizard and a snake submitted this year, and our staff went insane for those.
Chili Feed is back in full swing, the same day as Super Bowl Sunday. The end of December is well known as the most wonderful time of the year, but doctors say it's also when heart attacks are most likely to occur. In a report, a cardiologist says heart attack rates rise in the last 2 weeks of December because of stress, cold weather, falling out of healthy habits. The rate increases as much as 40% as the holidays approach. Doctors recommend monitoring for symptoms of a heart attack like heavy breathing, or crushing pressure in the chest for men, and shortness of breath or major fatigue for women. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is heading to Capitol Hill tomorrow, Wednesday, for a joint meeting of Congress. This is the war between Russia and Ukraine continues to intensify. It's going to be the first time Zelensky travels outside of Ukraine since the war started. This visit coming as Ukrainian officials warn fighting could get even worse in the new year, with Russia reportedly planning a major new attack from the north. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy has more from Kyiv, Ukraine.
At this time, we don't have any information that would suggest that there is any type of imminent or pending cross-border activities from Belarus into Ukraine.
With Russian forces ramping up in Belarus and President Vladimir Putin visiting the capital Minsk on Monday, the Pentagon is again dismissing concerns of another Russian offensive from Ukraine's north.
The enemy is increasing its army, and our people are braver and need more powerful weapons.
Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky is again asking the West for more weapons and aid. This after a surprise visit to the frontline city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine on Tuesday. Soldiers presented Zelensky with a signed flag to give to the United States Congress as a thank you for military aid. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, engineers are again working to restore heat and power to millions after a massive drone attack on Monday. Military officials say they shot down more than 24 Iranian-made drones over the capital's airspace. No one was killed in the attack.
I'm really anxious. Anxious because you never know at which moment there will be an incoming missile.
Despite repeated attacks and blackouts, Kyiv residents are moving forward. The city reopened 2 main metro stations this week for the first time since the war started. It also set up a Christmas tree in Sofia Square.
We want to show the Russians we have will to win.
President Zelensky's request for more international aid is being heard. The U.S. Congress has just put forward a spending bill that includes more defense aid for Ukraine. Reporting in Kyiv, Ukraine, I'm Nate Foy, Fox News.
A bit later, Title 42.
The Supreme Court could have a say in the Biden administration's border policy. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on the fallout coming up.
Well, friends, we had a cloudy and chilly day across the 4 states, and more cold weather's on the way. Of course, we've been talking about this for quite some time, and it's just about here. But let's enjoy the nice evening while we can. Seneca, Missouri, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, pretty nice night down there, as well as across the entire 4-state area. A little bit on the chilly side, but nothing compared to what's coming. We had a high of 37 today, starting out at 31, which was below the normals on the high temperature side, a little bit above on the low temperature side. Check out the record back in 1983. That was an extremely cold December, if you remember that. And we're going to see temperatures right around zero and even below that as we head into the forecast. But right now, radar is all clear, and we have temperatures in the 20s and 30s across the area with northeasterly winds. 29 in Fort Scott right now, 27 in Iola, as well as Yates Center, and a little bit warmer down to the south. Now, about 24 hours ago, we were warmer than we are now. We're seeing readings generally around 10 to 15 degrees colder tonight up to the north and west, around 5 to 10 degrees colder tonight than we were last night at this time. And we're going to see much colder temperatures, obviously, as we head towards the weekend. Right now, it feels like 15 in Yates Center, 16 in Iola, and 24 in Commerce, and 21 down in Neosho. Now, the winds have been on the breezy side this evening, but nothing compared to what's coming. This is on Thursday morning behind the Arctic front. Winds are going to be around 40 miles per hour, gusting up to 50 miles per hour in some locations. Power outages may be a problem. We'll have to keep an eye on this very closely. And those winds are going to continue to be strong all afternoon and evening long. And when you combine it with the Arctic temperatures, you're looking at freezing or wind chill factors well below zero. So it's going to be dangerous out there. 26 right now in Joplin, no danger right now. 21 is what it feels like with that north wind at 5, and the dew point is 22. The precipitation chances are mainly going to be in the morning on Thursday morning. It could start out as a brief period of rain, but will rapidly switch over to a mixture and then snow by the time the front moves through the area. So travel may be a problem, especially the commute on Thursday morning. But tonight, generally mostly fair skies with cloudy conditions, and we're seeing readings in the mid-20s. And then tomorrow, maybe a little bit of sun, especially down to the south, maybe a break or two here, but generally readings in the 40s, 30s up to the north though. And then as we go through Wednesday night into Thursday morning, here comes the Siberian front sweeping across our area. Temperatures dropping below zero way up to the north, but single digits already by Thursday morning. That front will sweep through the area, rain and snow taking with it, and then readings will be in the single digits, even below zero at Garnett by Thursday afternoon. And then Thursday evening, temperatures will continue to fall. Northwesterly winds will continue and will be below zero by the time we go into Friday morning. Very, very cold. Snowfall amounts generally around 2 to 4 inches across our area, higher amounts to the north, less down to the south. Around 3 inches, I think, here in the metro area, but it's going to be blowing snow, so visibilities are going to be reduced, so be aware of that. Here's what it's going to feel like. Temperatures dropping into the mid-teens, below zero by Thursday afternoon, then minus 24, 25 by late Thursday into early Friday morning. And then Friday, we're going to be seeing temperatures still feeling like below zero across the entire area. Over the next 7 days, here's your forecast. 44 tomorrow. Enjoy that nice sunny weather, or that temperature anyway. And then we drop the temperatures below zero as we move into Friday morning. And then temperatures on Saturday only in the teens. And then on Christmas Day, a high of only 31. And then finally above freezing on Monday. And then a little bit of a warming spell after that. So it'll feel like summer out here by the time we get to that point.
But one definition for awful, and that's those.
It's hard to find the adjectives to describe what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, we appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
no
you so
problem.
much. All right, coming up in sports, Baxter Springs Lions finishing up their 2022 basketball schedule with a home doubleheader against Galena. Plus, where the Missouri Southern women land in this week's national rankings, Jacob Leonard has added more next.
Well, the Baxter Springs Lions hit the floor tonight for the final time in 2022. The Lions are at home this evening, hosting Galena in a CNC doubleheader. On the girls' side, Baxter Springs tries for back-to-back wins, while the Bulldogs aim to avoid a third straight loss. Late in the third, Mia Sarwinski steals, heads the other way, all the way in for the lay-in and the foul. More from Sarwinski in just a moment. Now, final seconds of the third, Arista Sturgis buries the deep ball to beat the buzzer. Galena in control going to the fourth. Final quarter, Micah Adams working inside for Baxter Springs, off the window for two. But Galena rolled all night. Back to Mia Sarwinski, 3 off the handoff. Sarwinski, 31 points tonight. The Galena girls get it done over Baxter Springs, 59-24. On the boys' side, good one tonight. 8th-ranked Galena, 5-0, facing the Lions, who are 5-1 overall this season. Peyton Gaines on fire early for Baxter Springs. 3 from the wing for Gaines, then moments later, ball bounces to him. Gaines open again for 3. Lions up 1, 22 points tonight for Gaines. But on the other end, Jack Perry was a monster in the first quarter for Galena, floats and gets it to go on the break. Then Perry from the left side for 3. Finally, opposite corner, 3 ball for Perry. 14 points in the first quarter alone for the Bulldogs. On the second, the big man, Tyler Little, steps out for 3. History tonight for Tyler Little. He tops 1,000 career points for the Bulldogs. He had 26, and he did it with the Krabby Patty socks. Galena gets to 6-0, winning 64-51. The Missouri Southern women are still in the top 10 in the national rankings, but they've slipped a few spots. The Lions are 9th in the latest WBCA poll released today, falling 6 spots from number 3 with last week's loss to Central Missouri. Missouri Southern is 11-1 this season, including 4-1 in the MIAA. They'll be back in action on December 30th at home against Illinois Springfield. Well, former Pittsburgh State All-American Dallas Flowers is off to a nice start to his pro career with the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Flowers has made some big plays in the return game, averaging 34 yards per kick return in 13 tries. Now, he talked yesterday about getting off to a solid start and making plays for his team early in his career.
I definitely appreciate the opportunity. A lot of people probably don't even know this, but like I was the number 2 returner coming out the draft. So, I mean, me personally, like some people may be surprised in my play, but I knew this the whole time. I was just blessed to get my opportunity and just take off from there. I've been returning since Little League, like punt return, kick return. I've been doing it like literally my whole life. So, I mean, it's pretty much second nature to me. I'm just blessed to have the support and the chance and opportunity to get this. And I've been having a lot of good blocks from my teammates, so just making the best out of my opportunities.
Staying with Pittsburgh State football, the Gorillas season ended about a month ago. And the Gorillas were undefeated conference champs, made the playoffs, and recently had 3 guys earn All-America honors in Trace Jeffries, PJ Sarwinski, and Devin Garrison. The head coach Brian Wright joined us in studio earlier today to talk about the season and having multiple All-Americans.
Those guys showed up big on Saturday afternoons, and not only that, they worked hard to get to that point in the in the off season and in the days leading up to those ball games. We have so many guys like that. It's hard just to see 3 guys get the honors because you think there's so many out there that are deserving. And we had 18 that were all MIAA conference award winners. So very good there. And I just think it speaks to where we're at as a program right now and the caliber of players that we have.
You can check out our extended interview with Coach Wright on Saturday night. And that's it for sports. We're back after this.
Several border states say they're just overwhelmed by the influx of migrants, and they warn the whole situation is just going to get worse. Fox's Madeline Rivera reports from D.C.
What you're seeing at this Border Patrol processing center in El Paso, Texas, is only the tip of the iceberg, local and state officials say. The video taken by Congressman Tony Gonzalez Friday shows extreme overcrowding, 4,600 migrants in federal custody in a facility that only holds a capacity of 1,040 people. 400 Texas National Guard members have been deployed to the city, which is now under a state of emergency.
We've been asked to expand our coverage to include El Paso to help DPS and local law enforcement secure the area of the border where you see a lot of migrant activity right now.
El Paso is one of several cities along the U.S.-Mexico border scrambling to prepare for a flood of migrants ahead of the termination of Title 42. The pandemic-era policy imposed by former President Trump in 2020 allowed border officials to quickly remove migrants to prevent the spread of COVID. But it was set to end on Wednesday until the Supreme Court stepped in Monday, blocking an order that would lift the restriction. 19 GOP-led states had asked the High Court for an emergency stay that would keep Title 42 in place.
When Title 42 ends, we're going to see an absolute explosion.
With Title 42's termination on hold, the Department of Homeland Security is urging Congress to provide border security funding and pass comprehensive immigration measures.
If Congress wants to turn people back around or stop allowing people to make asylum claims, then they have to make that change in the law.
For its part, the White House says it's surging resources to the border and insists the border is not open. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Coming up, going to check out some celebrity holiday traditions, from movies to family gatherings. Celebrities are ready to celebrate the holidays with classic movies, music, and family traditions. We talk with several stars about how they are bringing in the season. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Santa's coming to town!
Stars are getting festive with family time and holiday traditions. The Masked Singer winner Amber Riley and runners-up Wilson Phillips plan music-filled fun.
I like actually playing records on my record player around Christmas. And my family, we usually come together and we make Mexican food for Christmas.
We're going to have a pajama Christmas. And we're just going to eat and be merry and play lots of Christmas songs.
Housebroken's Clea Duvall takes in the sights.
When I was a child, I loved driving around and looking at Christmas lights. I just could not get enough of them. And it's still the same.
The Great North's Nick Offerman may be part of other people's traditions with his Yule log video.
I never would have dreamed, our Yule log video it's a commercial for Lagavulin Scotch, would become such a weird, popular tradition.
Tyler Hubbard is excited for a break with his biggest fans.
Time to spend with the family and the kiddos. They're at a really fun age now. They're 2, 3, and 4.
Melissa Barrera puts on the holiday movies.
I love watching The Grinch, honestly. I think it's one of my favorite Christmas movies. I love watching Home Alone.
Lindsay L. gets in quality binge watching.
Home Alone, always the classics. Elf has pretty much become a classic. I just never get to watch any movies, so I just go on movie marathons through the holidays.
John Leguizamo, who stars in new holiday action comedy Violent Night, also has his classic picks.
It's a Wonderful Life, like every American, that's our go-to. And then A Christmas Story, when I was a kid, is my favorite of all Christmas movies, of all.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Can't go wrong with Elf, right? That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of a Christmas light display in Pittsburgh. Pretty impressive. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.